trade based on that. Okay, we're back. We had a report come out. We had an EET that we could have grabbed. It was just after the report. You know, this short NSC, that happened right at the report. Kind of turned around. Could have had the EET long right here around 11:02. Would have been an easy fill jump off at 11:03. Just I like to wait a good minute and a half, 2 minutes after the report before I start the trade. So, judgment call there. Could have jumped on that trade. Still not a winner yet, but looks like it's going to make it up there to 11:03. But that's okay. I would rather wait, let the report clear out of the way, and wait for something else. That's why I didn't. We tried to get this pullback, never touched our entry. Would have been a winner. This pullback just before the report, we wouldn't take it. Turned around. So really, I don't count any of these trades as valid because it's just before a report. This one's just after the report, so didn't want to grab it. So would rather wait on something else. Now, if we get a normal system entry to the long side, I want to get my entry in at 11:03 or better, which is right where I'd have been exiting had I jumped on the EET. You can see where that EET comes into play, right? It gets you in before an NSC happens. But if it doesn't happen, then you could end up losing on a trade. But in any event, so we didn't take that. We do not have a long NSC, so we're just going to have to wait for something else to come up. So it's all about following the system rules and doing what we have to do. It's looking now like it was probably a good call waiting, and I make this clear to my students. I do not trade before reports or just after reports because anything goes. Okay, so I'm going to pull the plug here for a minute and pause it one more time. Now, one thing it's worth noting, as I mentioned before in many videos, we only get one EET per normal system entry cycle on the fast term chart. That's why I have the NSCs signaled. So it's possible now I could get an EET to the long side that I could take as well. Okay, now that the report's behind us. So I'm going to go ahead and pause video and we'll come back in the rest. Okay, we are back. Now, a little bit different, right? We had this early entry technique that happened just after the report, so I didn't want to take the trade. I need to adjust my stop loss here. Kind of went sideways for a little bit. Never did stop out. We did get a short NSC, but we never did get a long EET. Otherwise, I would have grabbed the long EET, which would have been not unique, but something that doesn't happen very often, and it didn't happen where you see two EETs in the same direction and one wasn't stopped out. So funny enough, had we jumped in that EET, we'd have been looking to jump out at 11:03, but we didn't take it. So we are now in the long normal system entry, and this is just a standard normal system entry, and I'm simply going to go for 4 ticks, which is 11:03 and a quarter. Okay, so now again, let's talk about trading for income. Okay, I could trade all day long. Whether I'm trading 1 contracts or 10 contracts, I can go all day long and say, well, I want to make a point a day. That's pretty good income. If you're trading 5 contracts, $250 a day, and you're averaging 30 minutes a day, that's pretty good income. Now, if you're trading 1 contract, $50 a day, well, you probably can't live off of that. I understand that, but trading is a process. It's all about first learning the system rules, learning how to do it, teaching yourself to be disciplined. That's the hardest part. You want to be strong with that. Teaching yourself how to recover, how not to be emotional when trades go against you, such as this trade here. It goes against you. You shouldn't be emotional in something like that. It's just part of the business. We take losing trades. Everybody does, right? We may take another losing trade, and we have to deal with that by recovering. So you got to be strong with the recovery. You got to be strong with the discipline. That's what it's all about. Okay? So, no, do I want to lose on a trade? Of course not. But it's going to happen. I mean, we took a losing trade earlier and we recovered from it. And it's easy to look back hindsight and say, oh, we had a great short, we had a great pullback trade. That was a report. We don't trade the report. So that could have gone in any way. I've seen reports go up there and spike 3, 4, 5 points. So it's not worth trading reports. So we held out. We waited for the report to clear up. We got a nice normal system entry. Now what I don't like is that the market's simply going sideways. And as I said, when a market's going sideways, EETs tend to do well. Okay, but we didn't take the CET because of the report. So we're just in the NSC. We got a good fill. We're just going to go for 4 ticks, see if we can get it. We're really in that range. We're in this tight range here, but our exit's right there. below that range. So if it comes up there, hopefully make our point, and then we're done for the day, and we've worked 40, 45 minutes, maybe longer. We'll see what this trade does. But keep in mind, whether you're trading one contract or 10, if you're trading 35 to 40 minutes a day and you're making, whether it be $50 a day off of one contract or $500 a day off of 10, that's darn good money for working 5 to 7 hours a week on average. And that's my point. That's what I do. But I do have students that trade all day long. They sit there and do just what I'm doing here and look at their charts, and they trade all day long. They go for 3, 4, 5 points profit. And they also have a daily stop loss. I call that chop money trading, where you trade longer, you go for more profit, but you have a limit to where you say, okay, if I lose so much, I got to pull the plug for the day and walk away. That's a one way to trade my trading system. Okay, some students go to the long-term chart and only trade the long-term chart. In fact, I'll probably do a video on that one of these days, where they would rather take 2 to 3 trades a day and stay in them all day long and trade all day. So here we are, we're at profit. Let's see if we can get filled. If it turns back around, we'll break even on the trade. Okay, we're trading a live account, so we got to get filled. But once it moves to that price, I want my stop loss at entry. So to recap, we had a 5-tick loser, a 6-tick winner that we could have held out because of the long-term filter. That would have finished us up, but the long-term filter had quite not gone long yet, so we had to jump out. It was a high probability trade. We could have stayed in, but we didn't. And now we're finally taking an NSE here after the report. It's hit our profit, so our stop loss comes up, but we have not been filled yet in live action. So it's either going to come down here and stop us out even, and then we'll have to take another trade, add a little more time to our trading day, or it's going to come up here again, fill us, and then we're done for the day. So if it down ticks, we're going to, it's kind of, again, it's moving in a very tight range. But that's okay. If it stops us out, it's really the discipline to say that's okay. It's frustrating, or if you let it, if it stops you out at 1102 and a quarter, which it's going to do if it downticks, and then watch it bounce right back up, okay, like it just did. We just got stopped out. We didn't make anything on that trade. We didn't lose anything. Now, if this thing turns right back around, it could be very, very frustrating. But in fact, I'm going to short the EET right now at 1102.50. That's the entry. Actually, a bit late on this, so I may not get filled on the trade. If this bar here closes, I'm not filled, I'm going to have to cancel the trade. I should have jumped in already, a little bit slow, but I'm explaining my system. So I'm going to try to take the short trade and run it down. So let's see if we can get filled. But if this bar closes, then we're just going to have to cancel, wait on the next trade. So pretty good stuff you're seeing. You're seeing some really live action. This is what day trading really is. It's about making decisions based off of fact, based off of rules, okay, and having the discipline to do it. And again, now let's talk about this NSE. Okay, we jumped in at 2 and a quarter, it hit 3 and a quarter, and you're like, oh, I got stopped out. Maybe I shouldn't have moved my stop loss. Well, if this goes all the way down 20 ticks or 8 ticks, whatever it is, you're going to be happy you moved your stop loss. If it bounces back up, you're not going to be so happy. But that's part of the deal. You have to make a plan, and you got to stick with your plan. That's just the way it is. Okay, so still some very slow sideways action. EETs tend to work well in sideways action. We were trying to jump in here at 1102.50. Would have tried to jump out at 1101.50. Didn't happen. So that's that. So I'm not sure how much time's on this video, so I'm going to go on ahead and pause. And I'm sorry, I'm going to stop the video and start a new one.